everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Look what I've got on the table today. I've got a Beretta M9A3, and this was Beretta's intro into the MHS trials, where SIG P320 ended up being chosen and a number of manufacturers submitted entries, and this is what Beretta submitted. It's basically an evolution of the M9A1, which was an evolution of the 92 series. They're all very similar, it's just different features, different color schemes, different minor tweaks. So let's talk about this one here. First we'll show that it is unloaded. One unique thing about the M9A3 is it comes in this ammo can. And inside the ammo can there are cutouts for the gun, the mags, the grips. Now these are the original grips that came on it. And then when I pick the gun back up, I'll show you the wraparound grip that comes with it. It makes the grip a little bit bigger. With these grips on it, it's actually fairly thin for this style gun, and it comes with some O-rings for the thread protector. So let's set this aside. And one other packaging thing that's just kind of interesting before we get started. The cardboard box that comes in has a target on it. And of course, you got the typical legalese, make sure you take the product out of the box. But the cardboard box that comes in can be used a couple times as a target, and that's just kind of entertainment value. It's not anything particularly significant. But let's get back to the gun itself. The gun comes with 3 of these 17-round magazines. This will come into play in a little bit, we'll show you that. It comes with 3 of these 17-round magazines. It's also available in a 10-round version. And it'll also use the 15-round magazines that are available with the 92 series. These are PVD coated, and the coloration was kind of interesting. Some lighting it looks black, you get different lighting on it, it kind of has kind of a coppery color to it. But this PVD is smooth. It's not slippery, but it's smooth. And it's designed that if they get dirty, they get sand on them to actually repel sand. And if they do get dirty, to still function reliably. So, one of the target areas was the Middle Eastern conflict areas and the deserts where we were spending a lot of time lately. This was designed to work in those areas. Goes along with the coloration too. The original version of the M9A3 was available just as you see it, in flat dark earth and actually kind of a multicolor pattern. There's several different colors going on here, but it actually still looks good. It's now available in a matrix of different colors, basic black, black flat dark earth, there's some green combinations and some grays. So you can now get this in a variety of different colors. The original one here you see has flat dark earth slide, a variation of the flat dark earth. It's got a little different, not only is the color different, but the sheen is a little bit different. Black controls and flat dark earth grips and magazine base plates. It's actually a really nice looking gun despite all the different color things going on. It does have dovetail sights, and they are night sights. But the nice thing about these is they've got a little white ring around them, so you can actually see them during the day. We had no trouble seeing these sights at the range and getting on target and getting on target quickly. So they've really done the sights well, and unlike some of the earlier 92s where the front sight was actually part of the frame, these sights are replaceable. So if you want different night sights, you want fiber optics, whatever it is that floats your boat, you're going to have the option to switch them out. You can see the dovetail there. It does have a 3-slot Picatinny rail, and as you can see, it's made in Italy, which of course is where Beretta is based. So let's start talking about some of the dimensions of this gun, because obviously it's not a small gun. It's not meant to be. It's a service weapon size gun. It was meant to be, the design of this started all the way back, was meant to be a service weapon, police, military, etc. So it's 8.7 inches long. It's 5 inches tall, and with the original grips, it's 1.3 inches thick. It's about another 0.2 inches thicker when you add the wraparound grip, which is kind of rubberized, and it's got kind of a texture on it, which makes it really easy to get a hold of it. And Hammer's got bigger hands, so it's more comfortable if you got larger hands. But even with my average size hands, it's comfortable for me to hold, easy to operate. I have to work a little bit to get the magazine release, but it does work very, very well and very easily. So once I get my thumb over to it, just a little push and it pops right out. And it is reversible, so that I can set it up to be ambidextrous, or actually left hand, right hand. Now the safeties are ambidextrous, and you'll see that this is the only side where it says M9A3. It's upside down right now, but you can see model M9A3. And these are currently only available in 9mm. The 92 series is also available in 40, but these not yet. The safety levers, currently as it comes configured, this is a Type F. It's a safety and a decocker. So when I push it down, not only does it safely decock the gun, but it also locks it into a safe position and the trigger is dead. I flick it back up and now it's operational again. This is readily convertible with the G conversion kit, and I've actually bought one. We wanted to do the review before I put it on. We'll be putting that on and showing you what it looks like afterwards. But basically all that does is it removes the spring block or the detent, and if you pull it down it'll pop right back up on its own. Effectively it becomes just a decocker, and that's the way we prefer to operate it. One interesting thing about this safety levers, you'll see that there's kind of a ledge here and the safety lever points up. On the original 92s, which I've got one here, the safety lever is straight out. So a little bit of a ledge there, and then the lever points up. It's kind of hard to get it in where you can see it. Yeah, zoom in a little bit, you can see it and get the light on it. Seems like a minor difference, but what that's designed to do is, if you've got larger hands, which I don't, so I don't have a problem with it, but it makes sure that if you've got larger hands or gloves, things like that, when it's in the fire position, it's up a little bit out of the way, so it's less likely to catch on something. And the biggest thing is, when you go to cycle it, a lot of times you grab it from the top, it was easy for people to flick the safety lever down and put it in the safe position or decock it unintentionally. With the lever pointing up just a bit, it really doesn't want to go down. You have to want it to go down. So it kind of mitigates that issue a little bit. Just one of the nuanced difference in design, along with addition of slots on the rail, so you now have a little bit more flexibility. You notice the trigger guard is very large, and it's got a nice undercut. This is designed to be used gloves, large hands, small hands, adverse conditions. The gun is designed to be able to be used in any condition you find yourself in and work well. From a weight perspective, it weighs 33.4 ounces with the flat grips. The wraparound grip adds another ounce to it, so this one's 33.5. And with the weight of it, the design of the slide, the lighter slide mass due to the cutout, really mitigates recoil well. Of course, 9mm doesn't have much recoil to begin with, but when you add the other features and capabilities and the mass of it, the recoil pretty much disappears completely. So it's a pleasure to shoot at the range. It's easy to get good follow-up shots. And one other thing we'll talk about is this trigger. So right now it's in double action mode. This comes with the factory with the D spring, and if you've messed around with the 92 series much, you've kind of heard about the D spring. It's a lightened hammer spring. The concept set behind it is you're still going to get reliable firing, but it lightens up the double action trigger, and it's super smooth. Comes in around 8.5 pounds, but it's just smooth. There's no stacking, no grit. It just pulls back smoothly, and it's not excessively long. Now, if you go to single action mode, of course, most DASAs, the trigger pulls back in single action mode. There's a little bit of take up. It's real light, and then you're on a very crisp wall, and just a minimal amount of movement at brakes. Oops, I got a match in it. To do the reset, right there, and then take up again. So you do have a little bit of take up after the reset, and then another really crisp brake, which comes in around 4 pounds. So it's really got a very nice trigger, which the whole 92 series has always had nice triggers, but without the D-spring, the double action pull can be in the 12-pound territory. It can be heavy enough to actually affect your ability to stay on target. Talking about how much fun this thing is to shoot, a friend of ours was in the Marine Corps, and he's out now, and he found out we bought this thing, and from the point that he knew that it was coming, he was excited about it, wanted to try it out, brought back memories. We took him to the range with it, and he absolutely loved it. He's actually probably going to get one of his own. It brings back all the memories from when he was in and the guns that he used, but he was able to immediately shoot it well, right back on target like he'd never left. So it really is a fun gun. Now, there's something, I had on the table earlier, and I keep kind of dancing around, is this little knurled knob on the end. It's a thread protector. And if I screw it off, it exposes 1/2 by 28 threads. And you would remove the O-ring if you were going to put something on it, but it keeps the thread protector from backing off. Everybody that's had one of these knows how much of a pain a thread protector is at the range because they want to roll off. But that O-ring, they won't. But if you've got one of these, like this Osprey 45, that is able to operate in 45, 40, 10 mil, or anything basically 45 and below in center fire, just by changing out the pistons, you put this on this gun, and you've got a really fun combination with the the slide the way it's designed, the recoil mitigation. This thing will be a blast to shoot, actually a quiet blast to shoot with a suppressor, or you could put a flaming pig on it if you want to create nice big fireballs. The nice thing about this thread protector is that it does not interfere with disassembling the gun. You'll see when I go to take it apart, usually you have to take thread protectors and such things off to take it apart, and this one you don't. You just leave it the way it is. We'll do a follow-up video with the suppressor and some subsonic ammo and show you guys how it works. Disassembling this thing is extremely easy. You just push in the button on the other side, flip the lever down, and it comes apart. So I have the slide assembly and I have the frame. So let's look at the frame first. Pull the magazine out and do a little bit better. Normally you would take the magazine out before you disassemble it. You'll see that there's a bit of a feed ramp embedded in the slide, which is just to improve reliability and make sure if a round is a little bit low that it doesn't get stuck. And I meant to say frame, it's embedded in the frame. The slide's sitting over here on the side of the table. And at the back you've got the fire control group, the hammer, and you'll notice there's really robust slide rails, both rear and front, and then you can see the various other disconnector and other components. And you can also see the lifter right here for the firing pin safety. So this does have a firing pin block, so this is a drop safe weapon. And when I pick up the slide, I'll also show you how the safety mechanism on the slide works. So it's very well machined. It's an aluminum alloy, and typical of Beretta, everything is just well done, nice and smooth. So we'll set that aside and move on to the slide. So here's the slide. Pull apart the guide rod, and it is not a one-piece assembly. It's not captive, but it doesn't try to get away from you. Now, like some of them that are not captive, they want to fly off, they want to fly in different directions. This one will stay right with you. So let's set this aside and pull the barrel out. Now getting the barrel out's a little different than you're used to on Glocks and some of the others, because there's these little wings that lock it in place. The easiest way to get it out is push this little button, which releases it, puts up this little arm, pops the barrel out. There's the other half of the feed ramp. It's nicely machined, it's well done. Now of course it does tend to discolor a little bit on the ends of it because of the flat dark earth coating, turns a little bit black. The barrel is well machined, conventional rifling, nice and smooth. Everything about these are well done. This design's been around for many, many years, and it works quite well, and it's very smooth. Inside the slide, here's the piston at the back for the drop safety, and of course you're going to start to see some wear. The coating is going to wear off on things that get hit by things right here, along the loading ramp, the back a little bit. That's just natural. It is a durable finish. I don't see any reason why the finish is going to wear on the parts that you would normally handle, but things that are having direct metal on metal, you're going to see some wear. And I imagine, this wear happened very early on. This will probably accelerate a little bit, but beyond that, I don't expect it to wear significantly beyond what you see right here. Reassembly is as easy as taking it apart. Drop the barrel in, and it kind of wants to drop in all on its own. Put the guide rod and spring. By the way, the guide rod's polymer, but the gun has enough mass overall that it really doesn't need a heavy guide rod to function well as far as recoil management and everything else. Slide it back on the frame. Easiest way is to lock it back, then release the lever, and you're back in business. Overall, very easy to live with, very easy to maintain. And of course, since these were designed for military and police, they were designed to be able to be maintained in the field, rather than sitting at a nice comfy table in an air-conditioned room. They were meant to be able to be maintained in the field, not have any loose parts or pins that you have to keep track of. And one thing I might have failed to mention, it comes with 3 of these 17-round mags. And there is a 10-round version available for those in less free states that need to be bound by a smaller magazine. And the gun will readily accept the 10 rounds, so if you have some of them, it'll work. And then if you ever get the larger mags, they'll work as well. Get some of this oil off it. Overall, it's just a fun gun to shoot. It's not really the best concealed carry gun, and yeah, you can conceal carry this. I mean, people conceal carry 1911s. This day and age, there's a lot of better choices for concealed carry. It's a great outside the waistband. It's an excellent competition gun. The combination of the trigger, the weight, the smoothness of it, this would be something that would do very well in competition. And for a range day, definitely. This is one of those guns where I want to go out and spend a day at the range and have a good time. This is one to put in the bag. There's just no way around it. Now, it's not cheap. MSRP on these is $1,100, and they tend to get that, except that every once in a while, I don't know whether Beretta does it or the different manufacturers do it, but or the different distributors do it, but these will go on sale. You know, $800 for this one. And then you look at next week and it'll be right back up to $1,100. So if you watch, you can get these things in the $700 to $800 territory routinely. But if you just decide right now I have to have one, I'm going to buy it and walk into a gun store, you might expect to pay around $1,100 unless you're willing to wait for the right opportunity. The different color ones the prices will probably vary a little bit, but probably not very significantly off of that. So overall, if you've got a 92, you may still want this, some of the new features, the updated features, just the newness of it. If you don't have any of these at all, I'd go straight for this. This has got all the latest features, and it's just a very enjoyable gun. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell if you do. Watch for our upcoming video where we do the G conversion and put the can on it and not make some noise. Check us out on Facebook and Patreon, and have a great day. Thank you.